Nicholas Hurst had been living in the small coastal town of Corinto in Nicaragua for the past 2 years. He worked as a salesman at a shop by the shore and lived in a small one-bedroom home by himself. He didn't have any family here, nor any friends. The only other person he interacted with was the elderly woman he worked for, Mrs. Cardinal. She had trusted him with the shop and handed him the responsibility of running it, while she would sometimes drop by and check things out for herself. "Nicholas, I made some vaho. Thought I'd bring some for you." "Why do you go through the trouble, Miss Cardinal?" "My son was just like you, skinny, picky eater too. I used to make this for him. It turned out nice. You know, you should find someone, make some friends, go out sometimes. I don't remember the last time you took off." "I think I'm better off by myself. The days are going by." The days at the shop went by pretty slow. It was never that busy in this secluded neighborhood. But Mrs. Cardinal always insisted that Nicholas close the shop at 6 p.m. and return home before sunset. And since Nicholas didn't have anywhere to be and usually didn't go anywhere, he got home quite fast. It was a 20-minute walk back home, breathing in the fresh air and enjoying the greenery. On his way, he spotted a fruit stall and decided to buy himself some mangoes. Nicholas watched as the woman cut up and generously poured her chili sauce on it. That was way too much, but Nicholas was too shy to bother telling her anything. As he enjoyed his treat and walked down the mud path, he spotted a new billboard that had been hung up. "Want to make new friends? Join the fun on Bond, a chat room where you can connect, interact with new people nearby. Share your thoughts, explore your passions, no registration required. Just relax and be yourself." A chat room? That actually wasn't a bad idea. Deep down inside, Nicholas wanted to meet someone too, make a friend, but he was too introvert to approach someone. As a matter of fact, he was too introvert to admit it. But if he could remain anonymous, that wouldn't be an issue. Nicholas tossed the idea in his head until later that night, when he had a hard time falling asleep, he decided to try it out. He sat down with his laptop and logged onto the site. Everything looked pretty simple, no personal information required. Convenient. Nicholas entered the chat room, watching all the other IDs talk. "Hey, what's up? Hi, I'm Lucia. Where are you from?" But Nicholas was silent, until suddenly, a message popped up on his screen. "Hi, I'm Eva. What's your name?" "Nicholas." "How old are you? Where are you from?" 22, from Corinto." "Oh, that's cool, me too. Do you always use this site? I saw an advertisement in Barrio La Shell. Thought I'd try it out." "I saw an advertisement too, but in Barrio Nuevo." "Hey, I go there sometimes. We're not too far away. Maybe we might even bump into each other one day." "I don't think so. I don't really go out much." "Well, I love going out, especially to the beach." As the night went on, Nicholas didn't even notice where the time had gone by. Eva was a nice girl, and Nicholas liked talking to someone after a long time. And the following day after work, he rushed home to log on and see if she was online again. "Hola, estaba pensando en ti." "Eva? Nicholas? Sorry, I'm really not that fluent in Spanish yet." "Not fluent in Spanish? I moved here from America." "Oh, does your family live here too?" "I have a huge family, exactly why I moved out. There was no privacy there, but then again, now I live with 3 other roommates. I live by myself." "Well, you're lucky." "I wouldn't say that, it gets lonely." "Who said you're lonely? You have a friend." "We're friends?" For the next few days, the more Nicholas spoke to Eva, the more fascinated he was about her. She was always cheerful and happy, and talking to her made him happy. "I had the worst day ever. Guess what happened? I lost my purse. I had been saving up for so long now, and it's all gone." "Well, did you search everywhere?" "Obviously. My tuition was in there. I don't know what to do." "Well, if you need money right away, I can help you out." "You would do that for me?" "No, I couldn't accept that." "Don't worry about it." As the days went by, Nicholas and Eva became close, and so did their desires to get to meet one another. But Nicholas had been declining for some time now. "Let's meet. I know this really nice restaurant by the beach." "I'm not so sure I can make it." "Oh, come on. I don't want to hear the excuses. I'll be waiting for you there. In a blue dress, at 5 p.m. I'll send you the address, okay?" "Okay." It had been about 2 weeks since Nicholas had been talking with Eva. As much as Nicholas could open up online, he wasn't so sure he could be the same in person. Nonetheless, he made it to the restaurant the following afternoon in the best clothes he had, and instantly spotted a beautiful young woman sitting at one of the outdoor tables by the restaurant. Nicholas walked up to her, dropping the flower he had brought along, too nervous to present it. "Eva?" The young woman got up with a smile. "Nicholas, it's nice to finally get to meet you." "You too." Eva picked up a flower from the table. "I actually got you this. I hope you don't think it's weird." "No, I don't get gifts that often. Thank you." Nicholas picked up the menu when Eva interrupted. "Oh, don't bother. It's in Spanish. And besides, the treat is on me today." "Really? Or is that why you chose this restaurant?" All right, you caught me in my scheme. But just so you know, you're gonna want to come here again," Eva chuckled. The date with Eva actually went great. She was nice and polite, although she poked a lot of fun at his Spanish. As the sun set, people began returning from the shore. Eva suddenly noticed a guy, just outside the restaurant, staring at her. "Do you want to go somewhere else?" she asked. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine, just a little creeped out. That guy has been staring at me for some time now. It happens, not unusual, but uncomfortable." Nicholas peered at the man before he got up and ushered Eva. "Let's take a walk by the shore." But as they walked along the wet sand, both of them noticed the man following them for some distance. "It's getting pretty dark. I think I should get home. I can walk you home if you like." As they walked off the shore, Eva kept turning back to check if the man had been following her. But when she found the coast clear, she breathed out in relief. The weather was really nice out today. It's usually always nice at this time. "Let's take this path. We'll get there faster." "Okay." Eva led the way as they walked through a narrow path through the neighborhood. "Are you feeling all right? You're sweating a lot." "I'm fine, just a little hot." Nicholas had started to feel a little anxious again, being all alone with her. The tension was nerve-wracking, but he tried to keep calm. Until he suddenly started to hear footsteps behind him. Eva and Nicholas turned to see someone familiar. It was the same guy from outside the restaurant, but this time, it wasn't just him, but another man as well. "I think we should hurry out of here," Nicholas said, turning to pull Eva along, when suddenly he heard the sound of something click. Eva pulled out her gun and pointed it at him as she yelled at the men. "Come on, what are you guys waiting for?" Nicholas looked at her in shock as the men surrounded him. "What are you doing?" "You shouldn't trust anyone you meet online," Eva chuckled. "Take everything on him." Nicholas suddenly realized this had all been a trap. Eva wasn't who she said she was. She wasn't 18, she didn't go to college, but she was a good bait to lure innocent people like him. She, along with 2 other men, advertised these chat rooms and searched for the right people to target. Just over a few days, Eva was able to pry out more than enough information from Nicholas, from the fact that he was a foreigner living on his own. He even fooled him into sending her money and got much more information through the transaction. Nicholas was vulnerable and weak, someone who they could easily overpower and loot, and that's exactly what they had set off to do. As the men pulled out their knives on him, Nicholas stepped back. He began to sweat. His voice began to shake. He hadn't felt this anxious in a long time. "Please, don't do this. Let me go. You think you'll beg and we'll have mercy on you? Hey, take it easy. He's a nice guy." As one of the guys caught hold of Nicholas's shirt, he pleaded again. "Don't do this. It's for your own good." That's when they all laughed out. "Yeah? What are you going to do to us? We have all your information. You live by yourself. Why is your account under a female name? We have the transfer set up. All we need is your security code. Tell us the code." But the minute the man raised his fist to hit Nicholas, he suddenly held his head and stepped back, screaming in pain. Nicholas stepped back as Eva and the other man stared in shock. "I can't take this. The pain. What's happening to him? What did you do to him?" And just as Eva and the man hurried to get Nicholas, the two felt a tremendous pain in their heads. Blood started to drip from their ears, from their nose, before they dropped lifeless to the ground. Nicholas stood there in horror, staring at the three cadavers. All these years he had been trying to suppress his powers, but when his anxiety levels increased, he couldn't control them anymore. He was able to cause tremendous pain to others, making them feel as if they would implode. Growing up, his parents had tried to keep his powers a secret, but secrets like this never remained hidden. At the age of 15, he fell into the notice of a secret government agency. He, along with other children who possessed similar extraordinary abilities, were collected and taken to a secret facility where the authorities performed experiments on them in order to use them for their evil agendas. Nicholas was amazed when he saw other children just like him, some with the ability to shapeshift, some with supernatural strength, and some who could even manipulate matter. But at the same time, Nicholas was horrified realizing the painful procedures they were all being put through in the effort to use their powers and create super soldiers. And in the process, some of the children even died. Nicholas was locked up in a room for days, years. The security measures at the facility were strict. No one was allowed to communicate with the other. The only person Nicholas would get to see was the nurse that would come to give him food and check his vitals, and when he would be taken to the laboratory. But it was one day that Nicholas had realized there was a way he could communicate with the boy that was kept in the room beside his. Their rooms were joined together by a water pipe that was connected between the two sinks in his room and the other room, and they could speak to each other through the faucet line. "Can you hear me?" "Yes." "Can you hear me?" "What's your name?" "Nicholas." "Yours?" "Daniel." "How long have you been here?" "I've lost count." Over the days in that facility, Nicholas and Daniel became friends, the only people they could trust. "Do you think they'll ever let us go?" "We have to get out of here. I have a feeling none of us are going to make it." "What do these people want?" "They want to use our powers, and I know when they realize it, they're not going to spare me. I can hear them speak. I can hear their every thought." Every passing day, the two boys lived in fear. Until one day, Nicholas overheard screams from the room next to his. He was panicked realizing they took Daniel's life. And the only reason was because he was a threat to them. He was a danger to anyone he encountered. If he could read the minds of their enemies, he could also read their minds. And they couldn't take that chance. So it was from that day on that Nicholas prepared his escape. And on one dark night, building up the courage, he planned to pull it all off. When his nurse entered the room to check up on him, Nicholas unleashed his powers on her and escaped from the facility with her keycard. He managed to pass the gate and got rid of all security that came in his way. And in the middle of the night, he began traveling. It took days for him until he crossed the borders and eventually settled in the small town of Nicaragua and began living his life in seclusion since. But now, would he have to be on the run again? Three individuals found dead in the coastal town of Corinto in Nicaragua. Authorities have found no sign of injury. However, doctors are bewildered to find the cause of death being from severe internal damage and are still trying to find out how this could have happened. We found the location of Subject X-009. Click on the subscribe button and check out more awesome videos on our channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon because you know it's interesting.